Okay, let's open up Inkscape. Maximize our page. Disable the snapping tool. Reduce a little bit. Set our printer paper size. Mine's 8.5 by 11. Import our picture. Lock it. The reason this is a revised video is because the first one I made, it was a perfect outline of the pickup, but in reality on a guitar body the cavity for the pickup has to be bigger than the pickup itself, or it'll be a tight squeeze, tight fit, and you don't want that. You got to have some play in the cavity so the thing will have some breathing room. So that's why I'm redoing this. Okay, the measurement for this is in centimeters, so I'm going to change my measurement tool to centimeters, and let's zoom in so we can see what the measurement is. Okay, the width of this rectangle is 7.20 centimeters. So we'll zoom back out, and we'll take our rectangle tool, and before I do anything, I'm going to make this stroke width dark enough so I can see what we're doing. I'm going to change that to 2. That'll be nice and bold. Okay. Now we unlock it, change our width to 7.20, lock it, and enter. Okay, as you can see, this pattern is a lot bigger than this rectangle, so we're going to have to reduce this. Okay, it is locked, so we're going to grab our corner and do like this. Now we're going to zoom in. Okay, it's still quite a bit smaller, so let's enlarge it some. Okay, that's close. See if we can get a little bit closer. Okay, that's pretty close. As I mentioned on the other videos, one of the problems I've had was that when I make these rectangles or whatever I'm drawing transparent, it'll change this number here, and it was real disorienting. And so let me show you what that does. Go to Filters, Monochrome Transparency. Okay, so see, it's transparent. It's a lot easier to see. But in doing that, it changed this number here. And so it would confuse me, and I would try to change this number to back to what it was supposed to be, like in this case, 7.20. But if you take the filter off, there's your number when it's opaque. See, 7.20, which means that the measurement hadn't changed at all. It's just when you make it transparent, it just throws you off. So I'm going to be real alert about that. And it's just a little helpful hint. I hope will help you. Okay, let me undo that. Get our transparency back. No, that's not what we want. Let's go back to filters. Okay. Now what we're going for right now is width and not necessarily height. We'll do the height later, but that's real close, isn't it? Okay, we need to make our imported pattern just a little bit bigger. That is right on the money. Okay, now we got to do our height. So we're going to change this here, the transparent one, and we're going to move this up. All right. See how that's in perfect line with the center line here and here? That's exactly what we want. Okay, now let's take the transparency filter off of that. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, now we're going to make this rectangle in here. I zoomed out too far. Okay, I'll grab our rectangle tool again. And that is a little too bold, so let's change this. Let's try 0.8. Now let's try with 1. Okay. And we want to make this transparent now. Zoom in. Okay, as you can see, our arrows here on the right and left, they're lined up with that center line, but right here, not so much, so we need to fix that. But on centimeters, it makes big movements. We don't want that, so we're going to change it to millimeter. We're going to go up here to our horizontal coordinates tool, and we're going to move it until it's in line with that center line. Okay, that'll work. Now we're going to change this to, we're going to remove the filter. Okay, now let's zoom out. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is draw these center lines. But first let's make sure we're still on 7.20 on this. Okay, see it changed a little bit. So I'm going to unlock this. To 0.00, lock it, and enter. Now let's zoom in. You might say, why do you have to be so precise? Well, I've been doing this a long time, and I've made enough mistakes to know that if you spend your best time on preparing and making things just as perfect as you can get them, then you won't ruin a good piece of wood by not having your measurements, calculated properly. Because you'll get to a point in your project and you don't have your numbers right, and you just might as well just throw that wood in the fireplace, because it's, if it's not right, there's nothing you can do with it. Okay. Alrighty then. this one, it looks like it's shrunk a little over on this end, so I'm going to bring it out a little bit. And remove the filter. Okay. Now then, once we glue this to the paper and cut all this out, it won't matter where these lines are. But for now, so you don't have to do this step, but I do because I'm compulsive. I want this block to be on top of this block. But the way Inkscape works is whatever your last procedure that was done, it overlays the thing before it. So the way to fix that is I'm going to click on this and hit Control D. D is for duplicate. So here we go. Okay, that's what I want. But I need to get rid of that first layer. So I'm going to click on it, delete it, move this down in its place. I'm going to zoom in on it. Let me make it transparent. Okay, see how that's not on the center line? We're going to use our horizontal coordinate tool. Okay, there we go. And it's not quite lined up here, so we need to go vertical with it a little bit. So we go up here to the Y tool. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to get rid of that filter and zoom out. Now we need to make the center line here and here. So we're going to create our guidelines. Okay, I'm going to grab hold of this one, and when it turns red, you know you've got a hold of it. And pull it up there. Pull this one. There. Now we're going to zoom in. Okay, we're going to pull this over that center line. And pull this one. This is real close already. There. Okay, now we're going to back off of it. Okay, we're going to turn on our snapping tool so that when we draw our lines here, they'll just snap on them. We won't have to do it manually. Okay, let's go to our Bezier tool. Start here, click once, double click, click once, double click. Okay, now we can get rid of our blue lines. We go down here, delete all guides. Now then, I want to check this just to make sure it's still on 720. Ooh, it's 72014. Let me zoom in on it. Okay, we go back to centimeters. Okay, 7.201. It's not bad, but click it, enter. Alrighty, we're looking good. me zoom a little more. It's just a hair off. Change this to millimeters. Go up here to X. Okay, it's right on it. Great, great, great. Now we'll zoom out. Okay, we can pull out our original pattern over here and do our snapping tool. Now we're going to group this. I'm going to make all the stroke widths the same. Let's go to 0.5. And zoom out a little. All right, you're good to go. That's ready to print. That dog will hunt. Okay, I'm going to save this project because I'm going to need this template later, because my first project is going to be an Ernie Ball axis copy. So when I draw the pattern for that body, I'm going to need to import this humbucker template for the pickups on that pattern. So I'm going to save this project so I can come back for it later. Over here to save document, and up here I'm typing humbucker template. Save. Okay, now this project is saved, so we can come back to it later. Oh, here's another little item I wanted to let you know about. Now that this is a group, say you wanted to change the length of one of these lines or something in here, but when it's grouped like that, you can't do that. But let me zoom in on it. Say you wanted to either shorten or lengthen these center lines. You can't do it right now because it's a group. But if you take your node tool and click on the thing you want, see how it separates it from everything else, and you select it, and then you can make it shorter or longer, and then when you click off of it, it's in the group again. Or say you want to change this line here. So you go to node, click on that line, select it, and when you click off it, it's a group again. That's just a little, I pick up these little tricks every once in a while. Okay, well that'll do it for this project for now. So I hope this has helped you. And oh, if I did not mention it, this is part 1. All this part is creating this template on Inkscape, and part 2 will be when we print this off and glue this printed page onto a piece of MDF or plywood, and then go out in my shop and we'll cut these holes out and make a template out of it. So I hope this is helping you. I appreciate your passion for guitar building, and so if you like my content, I appreciate it if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.